Hey guys, Ivan here, and in today's video we got a couple of really interesting bodybuilding updates. The first topic we'll address today is whether or not I'm using Synthol in my delts. No, not really, but yeah, I did inject them actually yesterday a little bit. They do look extra swollen today, and I love it. With just testosterone, not Synthol. Maybe I should start doing that with my arms, but I don't have the balls to pin my arms. Anyways, the first thing we got for today, guys, is Hadi Choopan finally addressing the public. It's a serious situation. Maybe I shouldn't have started this with a joke, but anyways, what we got again is Hadi Choopan making a couple of stories in which he's actually addressing his fans and the situation that is going on around his name right now. Alright, so here are the 3 stories he shared on his IG literally an hour ago, and the last one 30 minutes ago, so just now. And as you can see, it's a lengthy text. There is a lot of things he said, but I do not speak Farsi, of course. However, I asked ChatGPT to translate this for me and give me a concise version of it, so we'll get an idea of what Hadi is basically saying here. So let's read the first story. For example, he says here, he expresses his condolences to the families of the victims and says that he shares their pain. Then he says that in recent days he has been insulted, threatened, and accused, but insists that he has never been politically affiliated or motivated by a personal interest. He emphasizes that he has always lived among the people, considers himself a part of them, and has nothing to hide or be ashamed of. He states that his pain is not personal nor individual, but a collective pain of the society, and no one can remain indifferent to it. Basically, he speaks a lot about this pain in general, the crime that is happening, and that he feels for the people, but he doesn't take a side, really, not in this first story. Or the first 2 stories, rather. He also says that the photo that leaked was actually leaked out without his consent. Obviously, we all know that. Then he says that his silence is not fear or cowardice, but a sign of respect for the victims and their families, because careless words can cause more harm. I don't know about that one. He calls for empathy, understanding, restraint, and unity instead of hatred and accusations. And he ends by expressing hope for calmer, brighter days ahead. So really, he's beating around the bush. He did make a statement. He addressed certain things, but still not what people are expecting him to address. I think he's just being very careful what he can say, and he says certain things. In the next story, you'll see he kinda says something in these 2 first stories. Not really. He's not addressing what people want him to address again. We all know what's happening in Iran right now, and it's terrible. And Hadi is a VIP, man. He's so popular. He needs to take a stance, and if he does, he can choose between being hated by the people or, I don't know, putting his family in danger and himself. So, it's definitely a nasty situation. Of course, I understand where he's coming from. At this point, things being this extreme, it's not easy to just speak against the government. So it's definitely a disaster, a horrible situation. Let's read what he actually had to say in that 3rd story. He says that compared to the dignity of the Iranian people, his own personal value means nothing, and that the people are greater than history. He emphasizes that he is Iranian, proud of it, and that his identity defines him. He admits that he made mistakes in his life and asks not to be judged based on one mistake or one single year. He claims that people deliberately tried to destroy him with false accusations and heavy labels. He thanks those who defended him and asks for forgiveness from those who were hurt by his actions or his silence. He states that he has never used the current situation for personal or political gain. He says that he is not a product of Instagram and is not afraid of losing virtual fame or approval. He calls for unity, awareness, and not playing into the hands of the enemies. He ends by saying he loves Iran, stands with his people, and asks for forgiveness. Alright, in this one, he actually says something he's asking for forgiveness. For what exactly? For being silent or for keeping that photo of the leader of Iran on his phone. I guess those are the 2 things that he's asking for forgiveness. So he's aware that he made a mistake. He says he doesn't want to be judged by one mistake or one bad year, a year of mistakes, I'm not sure. And he also says that he doesn't really care about the Instagram and his fame. He cares about his people, and he always lived with the people. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear what's happening here. He's not allowed to speak his mind, but I'm sure Hadi would actually have some. I'm sure he feels different. I'm sure he's just being careful and, afraid not to get his family in danger. And I'm sure everybody would act the same, probably. I mean, what can you do, really? It's a terrible situation. And really, all I can say is let's pray for Iran and let's hope this situation actually gets resolved. As far as bodybuilding, I don't think this is really a topic here, but we'll see Hadi Choopan at the Arnold Classic. I mean, anything is possible. If he actually spoke against the authorities, then probably not. He'll probably be a prisoner of the state. But this way, maybe we'll see him. But as far as Iranian people is concerned, they don't care whether he gets to the US and competes or not. That's the way things are, guys. Tell me down below whatever you think. All right, the next thing we got is an actual bodybuilding physique update, and it's one from James Hollingshead at 298 pounds, nearly 300 pounds, which, again, it's a lot for sure, but for these guys at this height, like Regan, like James, it's not that much. But his conditioning is actually very good for this size, and man, he looks big, he looks freaky. Now, with James, I kind of lost trust in James, because for a couple of years now, I've been looking at his photos and updates, and I'd always thought he looked super impressive, but then on the stage, he fails badly. Like 5 years ago, he looked great in his photos, and he was winning shows. Now, he looks great in the photos and places top 8 at a low-level pro show. What exactly happened? I mean, I guess his physique got worse, but for some reason, we are all unable to see that in the photos. I mean, I guess that's it, because really, if you look at this video right here, he looks great. He looks like he could be winning pro shows, not placing 6 to 8. But then again, maybe he made some progress working with a new coach, Zach, pro coach. I mean, how long will this situation last, this relationship last? We'll see, but probably not too long based on James' previous situations or relationships with coaches. So we'll see what's going to happen. But right now, I mean, in this video, James looks great. And if he stays with his coach and they actually do a prep and this coach learns on mistakes with James, and then James lets him learn on those mistakes and correct them for the next show, and they keep improving, then yeah, I think James can actually do something. If he does one show and doesn't win, and then immediately goes to another coach, which is basically what he was doing these past couple of years, then in that case, he probably won't do that well. But again, if he sticks with one coach and makes improvements and figures it out with a new coach, then maybe if he nails the conditioning, brings good peak, he can actually do something. I mean, something like being at least top 3 at a decent level pro show. Just not placing 8 at a low-level pro show. I mean, he's now at the level of freaking Patrick Moore and so on. So, yeah, I mean, James, again, he was winning pro shows. He was competing at Mr. Olympia. He was a top 5 Arnold Classic competitor, but the last couple of years have not been very good for James, and nobody really knows why. Because, again, he looks amazing in his physique updates, like in this one here, but on the stage, it's a different story. Again, why is that? I have no idea. Maybe he finds the best lighting possible. Maybe he's always with a crazy pump. Maybe, I don't know, he edits his videos and the photos, and he hits only his strong poses, and his weaknesses are exposed on the stage, and maybe he doesn't know how to nail the condition and the peak. I think that's definitely a big part of it, but really, I think this guy is just much better on his photos and videos. He knows how to take them. Then he's on the stage, at least these past couple of years. Again, 5 years ago, he was very successful, winning pro shows, competing at the highest level. Now, that's not really the case. And if you guys can see why exactly, you can tell me down below. Or if you think this physique update looks very impressive and that you think that he will actually do well next time he competes, let me know down below in the comment section. All right, the next physique update we got is something very, very interesting. It definitely caused a lot of traction on Instagram, and that's a physique update, sort of, but a physique update from Martin Fitzwater, in which he's showing us his back. Does this back look good? Sure, the back looks great, but what about the conditioning? And he actually does say in the caption that he is 6.5 weeks out of the Arnold Classic at this point right here. And look at his conditioning, man. Look at the skin and the thickness of the skin and the water, the fat he's holding in his lower back. Then also like the lack of details and grain and conditioning in his entire back. Look at the rear delts. They're barely separated. Martin looks very, very smooth. Not hard at all. No details, no conditioning, no lines, nothing that I can see. And he looks like he's deep into his off season. Now here is a little bit older photo, also a recent one. And you can kind of see his back here. It looks similar to the previous photo, but from the front he looks a lot sharper. So maybe his conditioning comes first from the front, and the last thing that comes in is his back. Like, there are certain guys who are like that. You know, some people have trouble with their glutes, some people have trouble with their back. It depends really. Maybe in Martin's situation, it's his back that comes in last, but still. Look at his photo, man. Again, for 6.5 weeks out, this does not look ready. This does not look great. This is not great conditioning for 6.5 weeks out of the Arnold Classic. And he's still doing the show. He's still committed. He's not pulling out or anything like that. Again, here is another photo from December the 30th, a month ago. And again, from the front, he looks great. This is good. It was good a month ago, and it probably would be still good today. Because in Martin's situation, the fullness is more often the issue than the conditioning. And what he brought to the Prague Pro stage is unarguably one of the best peaks we saw in quite a while, guys. You know, I would say probably Wesley Wisser's Arnold Classic 2024. That was a hell of a peak, man. Chris Bumstead, the first year he prepped with Hani Rambo, that was a crazy peak. Hadi Choopan, 2024 Arnold Classic, of course. I feel like I'm missing someone else. If you guys can think of somebody else who brought an insane peak this past couple of years, let's say last 5 years, remind me. But Martin is definitely one of them. And that is a rare opportunity for Martin that he actually managed to truly nail it. And when he nails it, that's very dangerous. That beats even Samson Daura, that maybe wasn't at his best, but was still a very good Samson. So when Martin peaks, he's really extremely dangerous. But again, he doesn't do that very often. And again, it's mostly the fullness is the problem, not the conditioning. I think this guy has a super fast metabolism. He spoke about this on podcasts, like he's eating a ton of carbs. He doesn't do any cardio ever and gets conditioned so easily. And he loves the prep because it's always so easy for him. So conditioning is not a problem, and that he does look behind here. Don't get me wrong, he absolutely does look behind, but that's probably a good thing. You know, he probably won't be flat. You know, Stefan Kinsel probably knows what he's doing, and he's gonna wait and get him ready on that day for that show, not before, not later, and let's just hope he nails the peak. But do I think he's going to be off with condition? I don't think so. If this was somebody else, if this was Samson looking like this at 6 weeks out, I would say, yeah, he won't be ready. But this is Martin we're talking about, so I think he's going to be ready, even though he looks like he's going to be horribly off. What do you guys think? Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Tell me, what do you think? Am I using Synthol in my delts or not? Just joking. Tell me what you think about Hadi Choopan's statement, and also about James's look right now, and about Martin's back. Is he behind or is he not? Whatever you guys think, down below in the comment section. See you soon, guys. All the best, and bye-bye.